Islam is an ideology where non-Muslims are being persecuted. Even in the Muslim part of the world, some of the Muslims are being persecuted. Islam is not only in West becoming untouchable, but Islam becomes untouchable in majority Muslim countries. Bangladesh. Approximately 89% of Bangladesh is identified as Muslims. 89% of Bangladesh. Also, Bangladesh has been on the news last couple of years regarding the killing of the critics of Islam. In 2013 to 2016, approximately 45 free thinkers or atheists who critique Islam are being killed publicly. And in somehow individuals turn blind eye to that. Why? Because Islam is very much untouchable. And today I have brother from Bangladesh, Michael. Michael is going to join us and then tell us his story. Michael is a critic of Islam, and as I said, Islam doesn't allow anyone to critique Islam. He's been persecuted because he's been critiquing Islam. So we will be speaking him outside of Bangladesh. Why? Because he has to flee for his life. Michael, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sister.
How are you doing?
I'm fine physically, but mentally it's very stressful to flee from my own nation.
So first let me ask you a couple of practical questions. Tell us who you are and what you do, and from that I want to hear actually what have you done that caused you to flee for your life and leave everything behind, your family, your home behind, and try to live in another country or try to set up a life in another country. Before we go there, can you just summarize for us who you are and what have you done so far?
My name is Michael Apu Mondol. I'm 31. I was born and raised in Bangladesh in a minority family. And about 6 years ago, I started to criticize Islam. I actually studied Islam for about 3, 4 years, not in an academic way, but my own way. I read the Quran, I read the Hadith, because everyone surrounding us was Muslims. And we had to always hear what they have to say about our religion and their own religion. So I thought that just learn it from the original sources like Quran and the Hadith. And when I studied Islam from reading Quran and Hadith, I found that Islam is a religion that calls Muslims to engage in war with non-Muslims until they become Muslims, or at least for Jews and Christians, they accept to pay the jizya with feeling humiliation about it. And I also have learned that Islam, as a religion, treat women in a way that it is not acceptable in any civilized society. So I started to share those, and for that I had to flee. And right now I live in Nepal because I had to flee from Bangladesh. I was in India for 3 months, and then I came to Nepal. Right now I have a YouTube channel called The Fleeing Thinker, where I still make videos exposing Islam. And I also have a YouTube channel in Bangla where I put videos in Bangla exposing Islam.
Okay, let me just quickly summarize to make sure I understood correctly. Approximately 6 years ago, you decided you want to share the informations you learned about Islam from Islamic sources from the Quran and Hadith and publicly share those information. That caused problem in Bangladesh, because first of all, it caused problem within yourself, that as you got surprised what you are reading regarding the Islam, actually not the religion of peace. Islam degrades and take the values of woman in Muslim and in non-Muslims, and in a sense I would say, like, you noticed Islam is very much dangerous ideology. From that, as you share those informations with public there, you had to leave your home country to go to Nepal for your safety. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let me take you a little bit back. So you said you start looking at these things 6 years ago, around 2014.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, around
So
2016.
in 2016, May 2016, at Speaker's Corner, me and brother Jay Smith, we did a session on killing of non-Muslims, especially the bloggers in Bangladesh. In a sense, I can say, as you start looking into Islam, as you noticed Islam is actually not very good religion, you were aware that if anyone critic Islam, their life might be in danger. Yet,
Yes, I knew.
yet you still wanted to critic Islam. Why?
Uh, I'm actually someone who believes in the freedom of speech. I believe that everyone has the right to share their thoughts. Even if they're incorrect, they have the right to share their thoughts. And at that time, I was single, so I didn't have anyone to look after. So I didn't care about uh, much about beaten or getting beaten or going to jail because I was kind of free. So thought, why not just try to share what I know about Islam with other people so they might know what true Islam is.
Yeah. So around until 2016, approximately 45 so free thinkers, atheists, some Hindus, some bloggers, they were killed, and most of them were done publicly. And approximate, I don't know if number has been updated, but approximately over 10,000 people were arrested because in some form or shape they were critiquing Islam. I am sure this number went higher. So can you take me back to journey? I'm very curious for the practical side of it. So as you start telling people, actually Islam is not the religion of peace. As you start telling people about the place of woman Islam teaches, in that stage you were single. What was the reaction you got from people?
Uh, I have to clarify something. When I started to criticize
Yeah,
Islam, I used to criticize while hiding my own identity. So it's not I was going around people and was trying to tell them. So we do that usually on social media.
yeah,
Like if we had account, social media account, we did not uploaded our photos and did not give our actual information for safety reason. So when I started to do that, I didn't feel anything, and also not much people noticed what I was doing at the beginning.
so at the beginning you were using, let's say, different identity to talk about Islam.
Yes.
So what kind of things were you saying that caused the problem, and how did people figure out who you were, that today you had to flee from your home country, you had to leave your loved ones behind and try to live in another country?
Oh, what happened when uh, I got engaged with a American citizen? So that citizen came to visit me in Bangladesh, and that that incident made news. Lots of Bangladeshi local and national media covered that story, and then people knew who I was. And after that, they searched online and digged up my old writing, like I was writing in blog, especially, and also in my account. The reason that I had actually changed my strategy uh, from criticizing Islam secretly to publicly is because uh, Facebook actually blocked many of my account that I used to use,
That's very
criticize.
common. That's
Uh,
very common.
yeah, so So I had no alternative just to use my own account, and I also had to verify the account with my own photo ID with Facebook, so they know that I'm a real person and doing this. So the reason that I had to change from hiding my identity, criticizing Islam, to publicly doing so is because there was no other way, because many account was gone because Facebook did not allow anyone to criticize Islam. We know that no social media, even YouTube, does not allow criticizing Islam. They try to deplatform people from doing so.
So you, while you were using different identity, Sharia Facebook stepped in and then kind of deplatformed you because of the writings or posts you were putting on Facebook. You did not have any other option than use your real name. So what was so special about your girlfriend's visit that made into the media?
In Bangladesh, in our culture, it is kind of custom that if a foreign citizen comes to uh, see their loved one, then that's actually becoming news. So
Okay.
it's a cultural issue.
Okay. So, and you made on the news, and then people figured out actually you are someone who critic Islam on the social media, and then your
Yes.
name has been found. So what kind of critics were you putting on that social media? What were you saying?
I was saying a different thing. Like, first of all, I was saying that Muhammad married a child who was 6 years old and had sex with her when she was 9. So that's one of the things that is absolutely well established in the Hadith literature.
Yeah. So
I
brother, let me just ask you a question, Michael. So Pakistan is Muslim majority country, like nearly 90% of Pakistan is Muslim. Do Muslims not know Muhammad married with a child? Why that become an issue? Because that's like from Islamic sources, and there is nothing like there is nothing wrong stating that because it is Islamic. Muslims
sorry.
don't know about it or they are ashamed of it.
Muslim actually knows about it. I mean, anyone. Uh, my personal experience tells me that most Muslims who call themselves Muslims actually do not read the Quran or Hadith. They learn Islam from their preachers. So most preachers do not bring those kind of issues up. But at least the preachers, like imams and maulanas, they know it is true because it is well established fact in the Islamic literature. So they knew, but they feel ashamed of it because Bangladesh is one of those countries who have laws regarding this issue. Like uh, no girl can be married till they are 16. It used to be 18, but Bangladeshi government changed it to 16, and man cannot get married till they are 21. So Bangladesh has a law that prohibit any girl to be married till they are 16. So they feel kind of ashamed because they know that usually when a child marriage is happening in Bangladesh, if police get to know that and the other human uh, organization can know that, they usually stop that and the person do go to prison usually.
Okay. So first point you expressed, you used Islamic sources to express that Muslims prophet, man called Muhammad, married with a child. What kind of other things you put on the social media as a critic of Islam? Because I wouldn't say that's a critic of Islam. That's just explaining or just quoting the most reliable Islamic sources. So what else caused the problem?
I mean, I actually haven't done anything but just showing what Islamic sources say about Islam, and you don't have to do anything but that to offend Muslims. And I also pointed out that there was an incident that someone wanted to burn Quran, and there was an outrage. A pastor in USA, I think, uh, uh, announced that there will be a Burn the
Yeah.
Quran Day, and there was outrage about it. So I pointed out that if burning the Quran is a crime, then we can tell uh, that Usman should be the one who should be punished for that crime. Sorry about that.
That's fine. So while you figure out your technology over there, so you as there was a kind of burning of the Quran Day in United States, um, and people are very much upset about it. You expressed actually first person who burned the Quran is a Muslim caliph, and he did that in very very early decades of Islam, and that caused a problem. Correct?
Yes. And I also pointed out that Islam say that women are deficient in their things, like women have menstruation, and during their menstruation they can't do salah and other things. That's why they are even religiously deficient.
Yeah. So, like, so far, all I am thinking is you haven't done critiquing of Islam yet. All you are doing is bringing up most reliable Islamic sources and then putting them on the social media. But in somehow, Muslim majority country Bangladesh didn't want people to see those sources. Therefore, in somehow, you had to leave your home country and then live in somewhere else. I'm finding that's a bit strange because Islam is the most tolerant and most peaceful religion, but in somehow just reading the most reliable Islamic sources is causing problem for those who are not Muslim. So how long kind of have you used social media to talk about Islam?
About 6 years now.
Okay, 6 years. And so you said you are from Bangladesh, but you live in Nepal now. Um, Tell me what happened. Like was your life in danger that you flee there, or you decided, oh, Bangladesh is not for me anymore. Let me go and set up new life.
What happened? As I told you, uh, my fiance, when my fiance come,
Yeah, changed.
everything changed. So my fiance came to visit me on 19th November 2018,
Would you like me to
and
show? Would you like me to show some pictures? I do have some pictures here.
yeah,
Okay, you continue. I'll put a couple of pictures on the screen.
okay. So my fiance came to visit me in Bangladesh on 19th November 2018, and we got engaged on 22nd of November 2018. And the news of our engagement was published in local and national media, and people started to notice what happened. And on 24th of November 2018, I was taken to a police station. Police came to the door and they asked me that they have questions for me, and I have to go with them, with the police. So they took me to the local police station and they asked me, they showed me the post that I did on my own timeline. So they showed me the post and asked, have you said this? Have you said this? And those are Muslim police. So I was scared, but still was honest enough to admit, yeah, I did that. And they said that, you know that this is illegal under the Bangladeshi law. I said, I do. And they also said that we will let you go because you have a American citizen with you right now. So we are not going to arrest you for that reason. But to do so, you have to write a letter to us expressing that you are sorry for what you have said on social media. And also, you have to promise that you're not going to do these kind of things while you are in, at least you are not going to do these kind of things anymore. So I had to write that letter and I had to sign that. And also, my father had to come to the police station and he also had to sign that letter along with me.
So while your fiance was with you, police comes and then takes you to the station. They show you the things you posted from most reliable Islamic sources, and then they tell you, oh, well, we can't arrest you or we can't do anything with you because you've got American citizen with you, because that will make a big news. So, but what we want from you is tell us you are sorry that use the most reliable Islamic sources and then you put them on social media and you will never do this again. and then that's not enough. Your father comes for the same thing, and then you and your father signs a letter to say, yes, that's correct. So what is the law in Pakistan tells you that you cannot uh, put those things on the social media?
Yeah, in Bangladesh there is a act called Digital Security Act 2018, and under that law, the government prohibit anyone to criticize or they put it like this that anyone to hurt religious feelings of religious people.
So you have a law tells you you cannot hurt the people's feelings when it comes to religion.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And we do not define what religious feeling is and how can someone hurt. I mean, if I quote something so basic, and some people get hurt, their religious feelings get hurt. So it's not quite defined. So anything can be interpreted as hurting religious feeling.
So let's say my feelings are hurt because you told me from most reliable Islamic sources that Muhammad married with a child. Uh, and I went to police and then I said, Michael is hurting my feelings. What does happens? What, like, do you go to prison for that, or you pay money, or you what happens? What happens to you?
Oh, you can actually go to prison for 7 years for that. Actually, in this very month, someone was punished by 7 years imprisonment for criticizing Muhammad in Bangladesh.
So hurting my feelings makes you to go to prison for 7 years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So you didn't want to go to prison for 7 years. So you signed a paper, signed a letter to say, I am sorry what I put on social media. And then your father said he's sorry as well. And then they let you go.
Yes, they let me go, but the story didn't end there because this incident took place on 24th November 2018, and 28th November, only 4 days after this incident, someone actually filed a complaint against me under 3 section of Digital Security Act of 2018. So the reason I had to flee, there is two reasons. One reason is that my life was in danger because many Muslims was coming to our house looking for me. So I couldn't return to my home for a long time. I was hiding in Bangladesh, but somewhere else.
So
And all,
let me understand that, brother, because I live in England. Life is very comfortable here. So the things you are saying to me is like mind blowing. So even though you told police, you signed a letter to say like, okay, I am gonna stop, I am sorry what I have done, and your father confirmed that. Now Muslims are trying to find out who you are, where you live, and they are coming to your house in the intention to hurt you, or in the intention to find out the sources you are telling them.
I mean, it's going to be a speculation, but very safe one that they try to find me to hurt me.
Okay, so they want to hurt you because you hurt their feelings. It's like kind of, I'll give you what you want. Okay, so in that stage you have to live in somewhere else,
Yes.
and they were visiting your father's home. Did anyone's life was in danger while they were with your family, finding your
Uh,
families? Your family was okay, or anyone got hurt in any form or any shape?
Oh, my family actually didn't get hurt, but they was very scared about it because if you have Muslims mob coming to your house, you are going to be very, very scared about it.
Oh, it wasn't only one person or two people, but it was a big mob who was coming to your place.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't look like they were coming to ask you, oh, can you show us the hadith or anything? They were there to, seems to hurt you. So you were in that stage for your safety, you were staying in somewhere else.
Yes.
Were you safe there?
Yes, because I was living in a place that is far from our house, about 300 miles from our house.
Okay. Was it like someone who you knew, or you had to rent, and like, do they knew why you were hiding there?
I was yeah, with my one of relative, but they didn't knew why I was hiding there because I didn't actually went out much.
Okay.
Only very few people knew that I was there, so I was kind of very careful not to go in large gathering and things like
Yeah.
that.
And so how long did you stay 300 miles away from your home?
Uh, a bit over a year, about 15 months, I think.
So over a year, you had to live life with so much limitations because Muslim mobs were trying to find where you were in the intention to hurt you. 15 months of limited life. I think that is just so unacceptable at all.
Yeah, but that was not the only reason. As I
Oh,
told you that someone complained, filed a case
yes.
under the Digital Security Act for me, and I actually can be in prison for 7 years. So I actually have a arrest warrant against me by Bangladeshi police.
So, yeah, that you said 4 days after your first visit to police, someone complained a file against you saying you are breaking the law. Did police came for you on that, or
The police actually came to my house, but I wasn't my house. But
okay?
the investigative officer did send a letter to our house saying that I should go to their headquarters for the inquiry. So I did went there for the inquiry.
And you find out actually you could go to prison for 7 years because you hurt the religious feelings of people.
Yes.
And what happened from there?
Oh, when I went to the investigative officer, it was in the Dhaka, capital city of Bangladesh, and uh, the investigative officer was a Muslim, and uh, a few of his colleagues was Muslims too. So it was very odd and scary to talk about what I said around Muslims police officers. And some people, some colleague of the investigating officer actually suggested that I should be beaten for what I said.
Uh, did they beat you?
They hadn't, but they acted very rude. And some did suggested that I should be beaten, but the investigative officer said that won't be necessary.
And so what happened after that? So um, that was you had to speak to the Muslim police regarding defending what you said on the social media, or defending the complaints made against you. And what happened after that?
After that, they actually seized my phone when I was there to the investigative officer. They seized my phone and they asked for me to give my Facebook ID and password so they can access to my account as me. So I had no choice but to give them this personal information.
Is that allowed?
Uh, I don't know under law it's allowed or not, but they asked me and I had no choice at that time but to give my Facebook ID and the password of that ID.
Okay, I would say like you never give your password to others. That is just so. Did they went to your Facebook, and what they have done? They just keep eye on it, or
Uh, Actually, I'm not quite sure what they have done because my account was disabled a few months after I gave them the password and the uh, and the account.
it
So they
become
told me
disable, like you, people couldn't have access to it.
Yeah, I don't have access to my old account anymore.
Okay. Like I'm not on Facebook, but I would say if someone gets your password and your details, they do have access to your contacts on Facebook.
Yeah, they have access.
Yeah,
They
so
can act as me.
yeah, and then your contact's life might be in danger.
Yeah, because I had friendship with many other fellow people who criticize
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't have any other choice but give them what they were asking for.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's just advice to people. Don't give your details. Don't give don't give your details. Especially like I don't know the law, but I would say that's like already creepy. That's already creepy. But okay, so what happened after that? Tell us what was the next steps?
We was waiting uh, for our K-on fiance visa because my after my fiance went back to USA, she applied K-on fiance visa for me so I can travel to the USA. So when my interview date come at the U.S. Embassy in Dhaka, uh, I tried to get a police clearance so I can show the U.S. Embassy that I'm allowed to travel abroad. But the Bangladeshi police or the Homeland Security in Bangladesh refused to give me a police clearance because I have charges under Digital Security Act 2018. And I couldn't produce that document and show that to the US Embassy. And they denied our case based on that document.
Uh, so were you officially sentenced for prison?
Oh, no, our case is still running. So it is still pending. In
Okay.
Bangladesh, it will take years to for solve the case.
Okay, so you want to get married, but you cannot get married and then apply for visa because police doesn't give you clean paper that like you are okay to. Are you right now? Are you married?
No, I'm not.
So it's been going on as a she's your fiance for over 2 years now,
Yes.
and you cannot marry because Bangladesh government doesn't give you the paper you need.
We wanted to get married in the USA,
Yeah,
but right now we can't get married because I can't go. There's no way I will be able to return to Bangladesh because, first of all, people knows me because my face was all over the news at that time,
yeah.
and also I have charges under the law that will make. I mean, I have charges under three sections, so I might be in prison for over 10 years for that. And
So let me so your charges is because you hurt the feelings of others on religion of Islam by putting the Islamic sources on your social media account.
yes, I didn't put the references, but I have said like Mama married a 6 years old child
Yeah,
and had sex with her when she was nine, and that's basically what Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Sunan
yeah,
Abu Dawud
all of them.
testify.
Okay. Um okay, so you couldn't get cleans to kind of go to US and marry with your fiance. Uh, what happened after that?
Uh, after that, uh, we was waiting, still waiting, because U.S. Embassy wanted to have some time, and soon after they actually said that they are not going to issue the visa. I decided to flee because even when I was in Bangladesh, uh, towards the end of 2019, uh, there was uh, there was arrest warrant against me. So I was risking getting arrested, and that's why I decided this is the time to just get out of Bangladesh.
But So were you still posting the things on social media?
I I haven't because I have and haven't. It could be sounded out two way. Like I didn't have access to my own account,
Yeah,
so there was no way for me to do so with my own account, and it still would have been very very risky. But I did with a few other fake accounts,
yeah.
but I didn't engage in those kind of activity the way that I used to. So
Yeah.
I actually limited myself to doing so.
So they are trying to arrest you because someone complained that in 2018 November they complained that you hurt their religion's feelings. Therefore, that was still going on in 2019.
It's still going on now.
Yeah, and you weren't you in that stage. You were still 300 miles away from your home, and you weren't feeling safe. That's correct.
Yes.
And how did you end up in Nepal?
Oh, when I knew that there was an arrest warrant against me, I applied for a tourist visa to India, and I was in India for 3 months. And Indian tourist visa allowed me to stay there for 3 months, and then I came to Nepal from India. And in Nepal, they have arrival visas for Bangladeshi citizens. So I was able to get a arrival visa on the airport, and I'm in Nepal since 14th March 2019, 2020.
Um, so what are you doing in Nepal?
Right now, I am just waiting for India to open up because I want to return to India, and for this pandemic, they are closed. And also waiting for my fiance to come to visit me, and so we can just have a plan what I can do because as a tourist I can't do anything. Like I don't have a work permit, so it's not legal for me to work in Nepal or India. So my fiance financially support me right now, but I really want to have a place where I'll be able to live and work and will be able to live with my family.
So this might be personal question. You don't have to answer, but um, you are a single man who left his family, left his home for the safety reasons, and first lived in a different country, and now in last 6 7 months you are in another different country. Like, do you have friends over there? Like, how do you spend your days? Like, what do? You don't have any, like, you don't have your family, you don't have your brothers, sisters, your mom, your fiance. Like, how does life look like as a being alone or like, are you feeling lonely or are you feeling alone? Like, is that
Uh,
even livable life situation that you had to flee your home country, all of your customs and all of your culture? Why? Because you used most reliable Islamic sources to talk about Islam, and now you are in different part of the world.
Yes, I'm actually alone. I spend most of the time in the room. I'm actually trying to use this time to do what I wanted to do for a long time is try to show people what true Islam is. And I usually make video. I have a YouTube channel. I have two YouTube channel, one in Bangla and one in English. And I make video exposing Islam, and also I make video about other philosophical topic. So this is how I'm spending, and also I go live with my other friends who actually talk in Bangla, exposing Islam. So there are many people like me. Most of them didn't have to flee it because they still can express their thought while hiding their identity.
Yeah.
So I join with them and go live and show why Islam is false, and and also trying to make a YouTube channel, especially in Bangla, where people will be able to learn what true Islam is.
So Do you have, so okay, like approximately 90% of Bangladesh is Muslim, and that 10% would be like lots of different groups. Do you have many people who support you in Bangladesh in the intention, yes, we want you to practice your freedom of speech and then talk about it? Or is the society against you? Not only government, but society is also against you.
I'll say 99% of the society are against people like us who think that we should have the right to speak our mind. So maybe a small fraction, maybe 1% or maybe less than that, who are sympathetic to the idea of freedom of speech.
So less than one, approximately 1% of people would say yes, go and practice your freedom of speech, but rest wouldn't support you.
I mean, there might be non-Muslims who
Yeah,
might actually this way, but they are too afraid to speak.
yeah.
They are too afraid even to stand with people who are getting persecuted.
But like when you look at the numbers are very high. Uh, Maybe yes, it's only handful people are speaking against Islam, but those handful people are being uh, persecuted. Some of them are being killed, some of them are being imprisoned, some of them are hiding their identity and still trying to talk against Islam. And society is not alongside of you, they are against you.
Yeah, in Bangladesh, it's very strange. Many people probably do not know that in Bangladesh you can't be an atheist officially. There is no official recognition of atheist. And the other thing is, uh, in Bangladesh, especially among Muslims, I will say a majority of the Muslims, they have an idea that being atheist is punishable by the law. So they actually demand the government to punish people just because they say that they are atheist.
So why they want atheists to be get punished?
Uh, I don't know why they think that being an atheist is a punishable crime, but
Yeah,
it's very prominent. It is so prominent that there was protest
yeah.
asking government to criminalize being an atheist there, and there was hundreds of thousands of people
Yeah.
gathered in Dhaka for demanding that government should criminalize being atheist. I mean, if anyone say that they are atheist, they should be punished. That's their idea.
So in Bangladesh, you have Muslims, you have Hindus, Christians, atheists, and other small groups.
Yes.
Yes. What is? Do you get any support from Christian circle? Do you get any support from Hindu circle? Beside like atheist circle, do you get any other sports like people are saying yes, or like are there people who are helping or standing up or making voice for law to be changed that you are given freedom of speech?
Uh, Even non-Muslims are too afraid to speak.
So that's like
That
Christians and Hindus and Sikhs.
Yeah, they are too afraid. There are only fractions of people, I mean, very tiny minority of people who work in the human rights organizations. They are the one who only say that this law should be changed. But if you exclude people like me who criticize Islam, and if you exclude people who work in the human rights organization, then virtually there is no one speaking against this law.
Um, in Bangladesh, are there people who are living Islam and becoming atheist or becoming like Christian or Hindu? Is that allowed in Pakistan? Because like you said, be, being atheist, people want you to identified as a criminal if you are atheist. What happens if someone leaves Islam and becomes a Christian?
You legally can do that. Legally, it is allowed to change your religion,
Yeah.
but we do know that in Islam, apostates are to be killed.
Yeah,
So it is very risky for anyone to proclaim that they have left Islam.
yeah.
So even if there are things going on like that, it's almost there in hiding. But legally, you can do that.
Okay, so law allows you to do that, but practical side of it difficult. Um, I'm just like disappointed that I'm hearing such a things in 21st century. So in 2016, it got attention of Western media that bloggers, free thinkers, atheists were being publicly killed because of their freedom of speech or because they were critiquing Islam. What was the intake from media or from the society towards those killings? Like, were people saying this is wrong, should be stopped, or people were, yeah, it should, someone should be killed if they critique Islam?
Uh, Media in Bangladesh, usually the media in Bangladesh condemned the killing, but they did not condemn that, but did not say that people have the right to express their thought. So even though they condemned the killing, but they did not condemn that the reason behind those killing was unjustified.
Yeah.
So there was kind of double standard behind that.
So you expressed that in 2018, an individual complained that you were hurting their religion feelings. Therefore, a case opened against you, where you were practicing your freedom of speech and giving the Islamic writings. Can that be happen for, let's say, for a Hindu or for a Christian, for atheist? Like, as an atheist, can you go and then complain to the government and then say what Muslims said is hurting my non-religion feelings? Or can Christian go and then say, oh, what Muslim is saying hurting my religion's feelings, and then they can kind of go to prison for 7 years? Is that
Uh,
normal?
Legally you can do that, but in practice it is absolutely impossible to file a complaint against our Muslims
Why?
because I mean, if let's say example, if a Hindu go to the police station and say that a Islamic, a Muslim or Islamic preacher hurted my religious feeling. First of all, the police might not take the complaint, but if even if they do, the chances that that person who complained will get hurt, beaten, or maybe even killed is very, very high.
Okay, I am the one whose feelings are hurt, but if I make the complaint, there is a big possibility that I will get hurt again physically.
Yes.
Okay, okay. That means be careful, those of us who travels to Bangladesh in the future. Um, so you expressed that you had to flee your home. Are you in touch with your family? Are they safe? Your loved ones, are they safe in Bangladesh right now?
Yes, they are safe, and I'm in touch with them.
So no one is try to hurt them, or do people know you are in Nepal?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Muslims know where you are.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, what is next? What do you think solution to this? Like, it is like, I don't think in any form or any shape, like there are a couple of things here. Expression of freedom of speech is under the danger. And another point is critiquing Islam is becoming, you cannot even critique Islam. And then you had to, because you want to practice your freedom of speech, therefore you were forced, gently forced, to give up all your loved ones or your culture behind and then go to another part of the world. You don't know anyone, you've got nothing to do, and you are spending all your time, most of your time, just staying at home. That is not life at all. Like, if you live in England and if police tells me I cannot go out, I will sue police for that. But in somehow where you are, people are able to get away with that. So that's another point. You are, like, you had lots of family gatherings and you are not able to have that community with your family. You are separated from your family because you are forced to do so for your safety. That's not enough. You can't even move forward and spend your life with the one you love, like marriage, or kind of taking the next step for marriage. That's not life at all. Like, there are lots of problems you are in, and all those things are given birth because you decided, oh, let me look into Islam. And as you looked into Islam, you saw actually these ideologies, I'll verbalize in my way, of course you cannot say this, but it is very dangerous to humanity, therefore I will speak up for it. Cause you, like, caused you lots of things. What do you think, what are the ways you think you can move forward? Like, I'm just like hearing your story and you just like stuck there. So how are you going to move forward? How are you going to live your life as normal human beings who wants to walk on the streets with your wife and smell the trees or read the books in the libraries?
It's very hard to see what I can do because I actually tried to get apply for an asylum in India, but it is illegal. I mean, legally, a Bangladeshi citizen and Pakistani citizen cannot apply for asylum, and in Pakistan, at least not through UNCHR, the United Nation Refugee Program. So I tried to contact few human rights organizations in the Europe and also in USA, but didn't get any positive response. So there are few options, like we can apply for Kian Fian's visa one more time, but it's very unlikely that we'll grant it because we wasn't granted in the first place, and it's very unlikely that we'll be able to get that. And I'm actually not alone in these scenarios because I do know a few people who actually living in India for 3 years or 5 years for the same reason. They criticize Islam and there are charges and they will get killed if they return and they are forced to live in India. So, and either I have to be with them and live in somewhere in India, or I'll have to try to be somewhere like where me and my fiance can live together. First of all, my fiance is an American citizen, but it seems like that there is no legal way for me to be in the USA and be with her. So it's very hard to understand what I can do.
Have you ever looked back and then said, I wish 6 years ago I never start looking into Islam to critique Islam?
Not really. I'm actually happy, even though I'm suffering. I'm happy that at least I'm trying to speak the truth, and people need to know that because I'm convinced that if Islam wins in the West, then humanity will fall. The humanity as we know it.
So you expressed, there are lots of people similar to your situation who criticized Islam. They had to flee for their life, or they were charged. How they are coping?
I mean, it is very hard for them too because they have to live alone in a in a foreign land, even though they mainly live in Kolkata, which speak Bangla, just like Bangladesh. So culturally, it's kind of similar, but still, financially, it's most struggling, and the part that you don't get to see your family members.
The ones who looked after you, who cared for you, you can't even give them a hug when they need it. Or even like, think very practically, if your mom is ill, you can't even go and sit next to your mom and then say to her, everything is gonna be okay, I will take care of you, I will look after you. Do you have any other brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have two sisters, two elder sisters.
So you are the only son.
Yes.
So that means when if it is the same culture in my, I'm from Turkey, it is the oldest son's responsibility to look after the family
Yeah,
in Turkey.
that is.
So you can't even fulfill your duty as a son to your family because you were forced to leave your homeland.
Yes.
So um, what do you think um, people like me can do? How we
Uh,
can help you? I can't give you visa or anything because even like I am in this
yeah,
country kind of as a foreigner, but in the intention of how we can make a voice for individuals who are being persecuted, who had to flee from their home because they practice their freedom of speech against Islam.
yeah, like you are giving me a platform, and I'm actually greatly appreciated it because I actually contacted many people, and you are the only one who gave me the platform to speak about it. And the main thing is people, especially people who call them liberals and free thinkers in the West, are the one who are failing us the most because I actually have heard people, even in the UK, debate. I think there is a journalist in the UK called Mehdi Hassan who actually was giving example how Bangladesh is a beautiful example how Muslim majority society can work. I mean, come and live in Bangladesh and just say something about Muhammad and then see how it goes. So I know that there is lots of misinformation in the West, like places like Indonesia, places like Bangladesh are free and we can do anything in there, but that's absolutely false. And it's mainly the Western media and also the liberals and people who call them free thinkers who are actually spreading this misinformation. And that's actually a problem because with those kind of news, people usually do not even believe us that we are getting prosecuted like this. How many people knows that in Bangladesh in last 10 years, many atheists was hacked to death in broad daylight on the street.
No.
So this is the reality, and they do not know that. And sometimes people say that, but we can't do anything about it. Yes, you can. You have all the means to stand by Muslims and Islam, but you don't have the time to just make a placard and stand in front of the Bangladeshi embassy in London. That will be something. If you can make a placard and just go the in front of Bangladeshi embassy in London or Pakistani embassy in London or Saudi Arabian embassy in London, at least you're doing something. At least you are saying people like me that yes, we know about you and we care about you. So, but they failed us. And that's the thing that people like us are not getting noticed because there is so much misinformation about how Islamic majority society work that people do not even know or even do not care.
So you feel you've been forgotten and no one cares about you.
Yes.
Beloved ones, those of you who are gonna watch this video, um, please, please, please stand up against Islam. Not just for your sake, not for your children, not for your loved ones, but also for other individuals who live in different part of the world, their voice has been taken away from them, their family has been taken away from them, and their life has been taken away from them, simply because they decided they should be criticizing Islam and posting things about Islam. And Brother Michael is one of those examples where, and he expressed that he knows lots of people who are in the same situation, who had to flee their homes because they critiqued Islam. So one of the things we can do is, those of you who live in Britain, you can simply make an appointment with your MP and ask your MP to bring this to attention in the government. Those of us who has social platforms, YouTube, blogs, we can write about it and then tag the news and then try to get attention for that. In the bright daylight, people are being killed by the followers of Islam because their feelings are being hurt. Simply someone give the quotation from the most reliable Islamic sources. Maybe it was acceptable in the time of Muhammad, but it can't be acceptable in 21st century. And as Michael said, you get to hear from people who's got a platform, gives you the image of Bangladesh or Muslim majority countries where life is all about butterflies and flowers. No, this is an example. No, life is not about beautiful butterflies and flowers, because people are simply being persecuted, beaten, jailed, arrested, charged. Mobs are turning up the people's house and they have to flee for their life, and they are in the stage. They cannot even be with their loved ones. Those of us who live in West simply says, oh, in everything we heard right now, last 1 hour, goes against humans' right. Law doesn't allow people to be separated from their loved ones. But in somehow in the part of the world where Islam is majority, or where Muslims are majority in a country, they simply ruling and non-Muslims are simply being persecuted because they simply critique Islam. We've got platforms, we can do that. If we don't have platforms, we need to make platforms and become voice for those of individuals whose voice are being taken away. Because if we shut up now, if we are silent now, when it happens to us tomorrow, there won't be anyone who speaks for us. There won't be anyone who speaks for us. Because the people who, when it happened to other people, we were silent, and society thought, or people thought, yeah, we can silence them, and people learn to be silent. When it comes to us, when it is our turn, we have 0 1 who will speak for us. And by that stage, it is already too late when your freedom of speech is simply taken away. And your freedom of speech is not taken away because you are critiquing the Queen or the Prime Minister, but your freedom of speech is taken away. Simply you are using most reliable Islamic sources to talk about Islam. And don't think I'm talking about 7th century or 8th century. This is 21st century. And he is the living example, a young gentleman who had to leave his life behind and can't even see where he's gonna go next because every door is shut to him. Why? Because he chose to not critique even, this is not even critique. He simply chose to use the Islamic sources to post on social media. Can you imagine if there was a speaker's corner in Bangladesh? What would happen to those people? Imagine like someone turn up the speaker's corner with Bangladesh with the pictures of Muhammad with Aisha. Let me show you a picture. If someone turns up the speaker's corner with such a picture, sorry, Bangladesh with such a picture, can you guess what would happen to that person? Brother,
They'll get
if I turn up the speakers gonna with such a picture, what will, sorry, not speakers gonna, Bangladesh, with such a picture, what will happen to me?
I'm absolutely sure you'll get killed.
I would get killed. Will there anyone who would step in to rescue me or protect me?
No, I won't be even surprised even if police just stand and watch that happening.
So police would stand by and watch that happens. Doesn't matter which part of the world you live, freedom of speech needs to be expressed. If an ideology cannot even stand for their own sources, that already shows that ideology is false ideology. Very much dangerous. Very much dangerous. Not only dangerous to humanity, but dangerous to itself because it can't defend itself. Um, Michael, would you like to share your last thoughts with me?
Yes, I want to say that people who think that we do not have the right to speak our mind should just realize that tomorrow someone can accuse them of saying something and can charge them with that crime. And one more thing that I actually forgot to tell is even though my family is safe, but recently, about a month ago, someone like me who lives in India, uh, his parent was taken away uh, by police and was kept in the police in the custody for 3 days simply because their son speak against Islam.
So because they couldn't get hold on the son, therefore they took the family to put pressure into son.
Yes,
Yep. That's very Turkish mind. You can't shut your daughter up. You can't make your daughter to come back to Islam in Turkey. What you do is you kill their brothers or you put their family in the under the tension so that daughter would feel sorry and then would come back, and it's the same. They put the pressure to family so that family will bring the child or shut the child down, and it is the same. Like if that happens to your friend, I wouldn't be surprised one day if it is on the media that your family has been taken from home and in the under the arrest or being persecuted because what you have done, and your crime is simply critiquing Islam, and your family is the one who is paying for that. That's very much Islamic, very much Islamic. So you do worry about your family then, as a
yes,
son, like you don't
oh,
have a, yeah.
my parent too. I'm kind of sure that if I do continue to speak, there will be a time when there will be consequences that my family has to suffer for that.
And that I know the feeling that something happens to, because something happens to your loved one because of you, that is very, that is very much painful. So I do hope and pray that that won't be for in your case or in any case of any other one who simply they choose to critique Islam but their loved ones are the one who has to have the consequences of that. I do hope and pray that won't happen to you. um Thank you very much, Michael, for being available and for joining and opening my eyes on how, first of all, how privileged I am in England by practicing my freedom of speech and critiquing Islam, but also opening my eyes to how life is different for many of the critics of Islam in different parts of the world, especially in Bangladesh. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. And what I will do is once I upload this video, I will put the links to your YouTube channel. If individuals wants to follow, that will be a way for people to get hold on you. Anything else you wanna add, Michael?
I want to say that I thank you for giving me the platform. Even though I am not a Christian, I do believe, at least in the West at this moment, Christianity is the only force that's stopping Islamization in the West. So, so thanks for your work, because if the West falls, then the humanity will change forever. The humanity won't exist as the way that it is right now. So I especially thank people like uh, Jay Smith. I actually have watched Jay going to the speaker corner and holding this photo of people who got hacked to
Yeah.
death in Bangladesh. So that was very touching to see that even, I mean, it was very touching to see that Christians cares about more of the persecution of atheist bloggers in the Bangladesh than atheists themselves in the West. So that was very touching, and I really want to thank you for that.
Yeah, we did that in 2016, because it was just getting out of control. But I'm Christian. I believe solution to persecution of atheism from Islam, solution to persecution of Christians from Islam is Lord Jesus Christ. You can only mind of individuals are gonna change, and their heart is going to be transformed by Lord Jesus Christ. That's something we might be disagreeing in a big picture because you are not Christian. But I'm just looking at the Christian scripture. I am seeing the free will and free speech God of Christian scripture gives us. In the garden to first man and woman, and you look at the prophets, and then you come to God man who incarnated Lord Jesus Christ, and you see while he was getting ready to give his life for people, people mocked him, people critiqued him, they spat on him, but Lord Jesus Christ still gave his life for those who critique him, for those who spat on him, for those who mocked him. Christian scripture strongly encourages freedom of belief and freedom of speech. Judgment is belong to God himself. Judgment is not belong to me. Lord, Lord will deal with individuals who choose to reject him at the end, or those who choose to run away from him. That is the work of God. It is not my work. But as I said, it is. I'm grateful that you got in touch and you opened my eyes to the life, especially critic of Islam in Bangladesh. And I'm sure beloved ones who will be watching this video, they will be praying um, for your safety, and they will think through what are the ways they can give you advice or they can help you. But above all, atheism, I don't see this is something we disagree. Even though we agree that critiquing Islam is the freedom of speech, but we would disagree in what I'm going to say now. Atheism is not the solution to the world. Islam is not the solution to the world. It is only Lord Jesus Christ is the solution to the world, because he is the one who changed individuals from outside, inside to outside. He changes people from outside to inside. And from that, people know how to love one another, how to love their enemies, how to pray for their enemies, how to change their attitude, because they have a God who love them and who give themselves for him. But I do hope, I do really hope that there will be something happens, that transformation will take place in your circumstances, Michael, because it is not acceptable in 21st century. You had to flee from your loved ones and your home because you critiqued Islam, and you are even separated from your loved one because you critiqued Islam. That is not acceptable at all, and it needs to stop. That needs to stop before it day finishes. Otherwise, it is taking over. It is taking over. Beloved ones, thank you very much for joining us, those who are gonna watch, and also dear Muslim guests, if you are gonna watch this video, think through what Islam offers, how Islam puts the life of individuals in danger, simply like individuals like Michael, who chooses to use the most reliable Islamic sources. Not only he's been deplatformed, but he had to flee from his home and his loved ones because Islam is so much untouchable, and that needs to stop. God bless you all, and we will see you again. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you for giving me the platform.